This is Sparta.
This is our very first edition of the Sports Bar. We're going to be delving into what has happened and what is happening in sport over the next week. And the only place to get it is here at the pub. Is there a better place to go on a Monday to hear what you should have put your money on Saturday? Oh, well, I haven't heard of it. Please welcome, with no introduction required, one of the most successful Aussie NFL players ever, Jesse the Monster Williams.
Appreciate it.
And from the all singing, all haka-ing All Blacks is rockin' Rico Gear.
ABs all day.
Rockin' Rico Gear, that sounds like a football equipment brand, I think.
Okay, so just so you know, guys at home, we have a very qualified sports panel here, and I obviously, of course, was the under-14s captain for the Logan City Steelers, and I also won age champion in grade 9, so very deserving of this sports show hosting role. Yes, thank you.
Very impressive, Margaux.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
You should have my Super Bowl ring. You can wear it next time.
I'll hold you to that. Hey, Jesse, speaking of winning, what happened to your nan on the weekend?
Oh, man. Wild times. For their 50th anniversary, being the favourite grandson that I am, I bought them $51 scratchies, and my grandma actually won $10,000 on the weekend. Yeah, I can't disclose their address or anything for safety reasons, but yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Did she go Wallabies or All Blacks?
She should have won on the Wallabies. We would have made everyone's weekend.
Did you ask for half winnings?
I was about to. She actually, the funny thing, when I left, I said I'll come back on Monday to get my 50%, thinking it was going to be $3. But no, I let them keep it, and no, it was pretty wild.
How good.
Well, speaking of winning, boys, we are winning because we get to do our show here at the Buffalo Bar, right in the heart of Brisbane City. Who needs a TV studio when you got this place?
Hey. It's the perfect spot for drinks, beer garden, American classics, whiskey, cocktails, during work, after work. It's a perfect spot.
Bottomless wings too, I'm in for that. Okay, sports fan, it has been a big week in sport. Lots to talk about. We've got the State of Origin. It's been and gone. It's coming back again. The Bledisloe, obviously, on the weekend, Australia and the Wallabies. And we are going to be chatting to Toowoomba Medievil MMA champion.
I was going to do that once, but it was getting late, so I called it a night.
Hey, great game on Saturday, guys. Obviously, Australia beating the All Blacks in the Bledisloe. Rico, I know you were there in a very fancy corporate box, might I add. Did you tip to win the All Blacks, or did Australia, were they too good?
Rico, I heard you were betting on Australia to win.
Oh.
Is that true?
Just quietly, I actually did bet on Australia to win the game, but, fully backed up by good statistics. You look at the last 6 games that the Wallabies have played the All Blacks, it's actually 50-50. So, and in the last few years, the All Blacks haven't won a lot of games, at Suncorp. So I guess it made for a perfect storm for, the Wallabies to take the opportunity and win that game. Also the All Blacks had 10 changes to the side.
Yeah.
So I guess if you look at that, the Wallabies, had the perfect opportunity to, get the result.
A couple of red cards in there, which we probably don't really like to see in rugby union. Rico, what do you make of that?
Yeah, not a fan of the red cards, and I know that Steve Hansen, the former All Black coach, he's spoken about that a number of times in the past. That at that level, it can really, I guess, destroy the contest by having mismatched numbers. So I really like the NRL system where you get put on report. For those sort of misdemeanours. But I think a yellow card would be sufficient, and then, put them on report.
Well, the next game is this Saturday. New Zealand are taking on Argentina, and then the week after that, Argentina are taking on the Wallabies. Are you familiar with the Argentinians, Jesse?
No, not at all.
not the football playing type, I guess.
No. A different type, apparently. No.
State of Origin is back, guys, Wednesday night with more mullets than ever, and it was a big win last week to Queensland at Adelaide Oval. The Maroons scored an unanswered 18 points in the opening 27 minutes of the second half and held on to take out the first match 18-14. What a game. Rico, Jesse, where you're watching? Where were you watching?
Well, hopefully we're going to watch it. We'll watch the next ones from a box. The first one was at home.
Yeah.
Adelaide, not the traditional rugby league town, but they had a pretty massive crowd. I think
They sold out. Yeah.
There was 13 people there. I think it was pretty good. We're looking forward to seeing what the next game holds. But it should
You
be
don't
fun.
like that they're holding State of Origin outside New South Wales and Queensland?
I have mixed feelings about it,
Yeah.
mainly because we have less things to go to, but there's barely anything in Brisbane as it is. So, but no, looking forward for when they do have it back here.
Hold an NRL game there. That's what I reckon.
Yeah.
Be far better.
But there was a bit of drama around Luke Keary. I know Wayne Bennett has had some pretty strong opinions on it. Luke Keary obviously came through the Queensland system, but playing for New South Wales. We saw this argument with Greg Inglis also, who came through the Queensland system. Is it true that if you're born in New South Wales, you play for New South Wales, and if you're born in Queensland, Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, any of the Queensland islands, you play for Queensland?
You should be playing where you're born, right?
Yeah.
Like, pretty straightforward. So he's a confused man. Clearly.
Confused.
Yeah, Wayne Bennett's an incredible coach, and I would love to hear what he said at halftime to the guys.
What do you think he said?
Well, he's a very experienced coach and been around for a very long time. I think you mentioned earlier, Margaux, he's probably just talked about keeping it really simple and, completing your sets and not making any mistakes. That's going to get you back into the game, and I think we saw that.
Yeah, there was a super young team too, like a lot of sort of new guys in there. I think the experience base is what they really need to start building on. There's not a lot of the typical legends that are still there anymore. They're sort of like driving it through. So be interesting to see how they go in a few next years.
Well, they had big Josh Papali there, plenty of experience in him. Ben Hunt, I thought, was outstanding in the second half. And then obviously you have the likes of Daly Cherry Evans, who was our man of the match. Cameron Munster, who had prepared very well, obviously, after the win of the grand final with the Melbourne Storm team. I say get him back to Byron, because I don't know what happened at halftime, but he fired up, and geez, he was the best on field. And obviously Dane Gagai, who I thought was outstanding.
How good is Dane Gagai? He's been, even if you look at the past, Origins, he's been the player of the series, and he just seems to be able to front up and show up, every time he puts a jersey on. So he's, a valuable asset to the Maroons.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so here is a new sport that we have just discovered, Medieval MMA League. Let's check it out. Please welcome from Tears Warriors, Jacob. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Jacob, tell me a little bit about this MMA league. What is this that you do?
Well, what we do, we actually compete national-wide, also overseas, compete on a very large competition over there. What we do, we're actually pretty much medieval-based MMA fighting. So we use elbows, headbutts, things like this big fella.
Jesus.
Here we
Just
go.
Wow.
Here we go.
Has anybody died doing this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So, but anything's possible.
Given
We're-
time.
We're optimistic here. But no, we come in, we've got massive 8-foot axes, stuff like that, come at people. And usually we're fighting 5 versus 5, where it's, as soon as you put a guy down, it's now 5 versus 4, 5 versus 3. So it's very much a brute sport.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
once again, as you can see by the guys behind you,
Are they real suits of armour?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We get them professionally made over in Europe and sent over to all our measurements. So for that, I think we've actually had one of our Ukrainian friends shoot weapons at them, and it's actually deflected bullets off the helmets and everything.
So what's the rules? Are we allowed to stab people? Like, what's going on?
No, as I said, we're trying to keep the death to a minimum, which is
Fairly common.
It is pretty much blunt force trauma. So we're not stabbing, but we're actually like an axe swinging to a head. It's going to still do some damage. So yeah, the only thing we can't do is stab. Like, that's the main rule: no stabbing. But other than that, we can chop at any limb, part of your body, anywhere. If it's armoured up, we're going to hit it.
No stabbing's a good rule.
So apart from death, what is the worst injury you can receive?
Well, the worst injury I've received was a broken thumb. That's it.
How many weeks out were you out for?
2 days, surprisingly.
Okay.
That was it. No, with the sport, I've seen some concussions, stuff like that, which it's like very much like playing rugby, stuff like that. You can get a concussion, you're still running around. You're not end of the world.
Yeah.
But with that, you're pretty safe in that kit. It's surprisingly durable.
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned before, obviously, it's an overseas component. How big is this?
Well, for us, so when we go to the World Championships, it's 42 countries which actually have 3 teams each. So it's very much like a soccer draw where you actually have different categories. And then from there, you might be fighting Argentina. So it's Australia versus Argentina, USA, stuff like that. So you're actually competing for your country against other countries.
Yeah, wow.
So, and it's you guys know from obviously competitive sports, you're in that game for everything. So as we say, leave everything in the list. You walk out, you're exhausted, you're gassed like anything, but you're going, yeah, I left it in there. So.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
So what's the prize? A fair maiden, a kingdom, a kingdom perhaps.
Oh, we wish.
Or a castle.
I love myself a castle. No, our biggest prize so far is €50,000.
Wow.
Is for first place, and that's split amongst 7 guys because that's your team. Your team is of 7, so you got your reserves. But if you think that's a decent pay packet for a holiday in Europe, like who wouldn't want that? So you're always striving to get that win as much as possible.
Jacob, how do you win? Like, how do they score it? Is it body shots like in boxing? Or?
Well, on that, we've actually got different categories. So we've got our 5 versus 5, which most of our guys compete in, which is awesome. But then you go your one-on-ones, which is more your cage fights sort of style, which is based on points-based system, or you make the guy tap out. So you can actually still choke a person out in the helmet. From there, you also can do our 5 versus 5 is when a person's on the ground, they're out, they're a dead body. So your aim is to knock that guy to the ground. If he can't move, step over him, use him. We actually use him where we actually throw a guy onto him so he trips over. So use them. Everything's free game on the ground.
Can I just get you to come around here so we can check out your suit of armour? You mentioned that it's real. Talk us through what are the components that make up the armour wear? So
with this, so Dave here is wearing a classic sort of base griffin or top helm. Solid 3mm thick steel, so nothing wants to penetrate in through that skull. Obviously with the visor pin, it can actually lift up. So his beautiful face. From there, obviously, we've got our shoulders, which are designed to do as much movement as possible. So obviously, it's not restricting like they show in the movies. We can do. I've seen guys do full somersaults in the air with this stuff. From there, our body armour is designed to obviously flex and manoeuvre. So it's actually tiny little plates constantly overlapping each other. Yeah. So if he wants to be a little teapot, he can. He's great. The kids love us.
Where's your spout?
Yeah. From there, obviously, with our weapons, so this is obviously a rather large, we call them falchions as opposed to just a plain sword. They're designed with more of a point to them. So that point, when it hits the skull, is going to be more forced into one single location. Yeah. As opposed to a sword will deflect the whole thing along. Our legs are very much the same, very anatomically correct. So they're flexible, they move with your knee. And yeah, so you can literally do rolls and somersaults and yeah, as I did first night, getting up on a horse is easy with us.
Is it custom made? Because I think Jesse might need something real like
Do you have this in a 3XL?
Oh, we've got a few boys your size, but they'll put a run for you.
I need to protect my moneymaker.
He's sorted for Melbourne Cup next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It suits well with you.
I thought I couldn't get into bars already. This will make it way better.
I know. Many times we've walked in and they're like, sorry, not with them shoes.
Me too, actually.
Come on, the boys have a hit?
Yeah, we can do
Yeah?
it. We can
You're
give
up
one of
for
the
it?
boys a hit.
Let's do it.
See if they're willing.
Talk us through it.
So you want to at least aim for the side of his head. You're going for that concussion sort of feel. So,
Concussion blow.
yeah, exactly. So it's a big swing, hit him hard.
This is Sparta.
See? And once again, look, he's nothing. It's just
David,
You lay it off.
how many fingers am I holding up?
Come on, do it again. One more. That's
Oh,
great.
he's my hero.
Come on, Jesse, you want it? You want a little one, don't you?
Hit him in the arm.
Yeah, go for the arm.
Go for the arms.
There you go. So, as you see, it takes a hit. They're great.
Okay, guys, it's last drinks here at the Sports Bar. So please give our show a cheeky share on Facebook for your chance to win tickets to our live shows here at the Buffalo Bar in Charlotte Street, Brisbane. We'll see you next time. Sports.